Hey, it's Jay Scott with Gutstock Photos out here on the range again. Today we're going to be working with the Springfield Xdm 525. This is a competition gun for me. This is what I use in competition. Basically, kind of go over with you what you get when you order one of these from Springfield. Basically, you get the gun, of course. When I bought mine, they were offering 3 magazines with the gun. I'm not sure if that deal is still going on. That was a couple of years ago. You get a mag pouch. You get a belt slide holster for it, as well as a couple of different back straps that you can put on the gun. You got small, medium, and large, whatever fits your hand the best. They also have a uploader for loading your magazines. This gun, like I said, I bought mine a couple of years ago. This is my competition gun. This is not a fully stock gun anymore. It is modified for the production, for rules of the production division for USPSA. Basically, which means I can't do any external modifications to the gun. I can have a trigger job done, which I have had done by Scott Springer. This also has the offset mag release, which also is legal. All right, let's go ahead and get the gun out of the box here. We'll kind of walk through a couple of the features of the gun and how it was designed. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the XDM 525. This was designed, a lot of the design, I should say, of this gun was done by Rob Latham. Rob Latham is the professional shooter for Springfield Armory. He's won many world and national championships. He designed this gun for the production division. Now, a couple of things that were designed into it. First of all, this is a 525, so it means it's a 5 1/4 inch barrel on it. What that did for the XDs in terms of competition for the production division is at that time, I believe the longest gun they had was a 4.5 inch gun in 9mm. The 525 gives us a much longer sight radius. The longer your sight radius, the easier it is to aim the gun, especially at longer shots. There is a lightning cut already in the slide. USPSA production, you're not allowed to make any lightning cuts in the gun. So this is already lightening up the slide because you got that longer barrel, got a longer slide, more mass. You got all steel up here, polymer down here. So the lightning cut helps balance the gun out. 3 different back straps, small, medium, and large, so you can use the back strap that fits your hand the best. One of the modifications that you are able to make on this is you can get some grip tape or stippling on your grip. I've got, this is a Scott Springer texture that's on here. You can get a trigger job done. This has had a trigger job. Again, it's Scott Springer trigger job. Offset mag release. That's another legal option that I could change out. Again, this is a Scott Springer mag release. Adjustable rear sight, both for windage and elevation. So this gun was really designed with production division in mind. This gun has become extremely popular over the last couple of years. Many of these guns have been sold. A lot of people are shooting them. Really good gun to shoot in competition. All right, now in the production division for USPSA, the polymer guns have really overtaken. There's really three types of guns that are the most popular, and that is the Glock, of course. Glock has been around for quite a while. A lot of Glocks in the competition. There's also the Smith & Wesson M&Ps, and then the Springfield Armory XDM. Now, personally, from what I've shot, what I've tested over the time, my order of preference is the Springfield XDM, then the Smith & Wesson M&P, and then the Glock. And the reason purely is the trigger job that can be done on these guns. I believe, from what I've shot and that type of thing, I really believe that the XDs take the best trigger job. I think the M&Ps probably have the second best trigger job, and then the Glocks, for me, are third. It's preference. It's just what I have found personally. but you can get an excellent trigger job on these XDs. So this one was done, this is a trigger job done by Scott Springer. He sells both drop-in kits as well as kits for gunsmiths. This one I actually sent the gun straight to Scott Springer from Springfield Armory. When I ordered the gun, I had it shipped directly to him and had him do the trigger job. So let's go ahead and put the trigger pull gauge on it, and we'll see where this one's at. Gun is, as always, safety first. The gun is empty, no rounds in the chamber, no magazine in the gun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my trigger pull gauge on here. Now, whenever you have a gun like this, it's got the safety in the trigger. You got to make sure that you place your trigger pull gauge in a spot that's indicative of where your finger would be. So let's go ahead and break that. It broke right about 3 pounds. I'm going to go ahead and do it a couple more times. And again, you can get different readings depending on where you put your trigger gauge. Okay, that one was at about 2 1/4, and that's more along the lines of what I expected. That's about what this trigger is about a 2 1/4. So let me get it lined up here again. And again, about 2 1/4 pounds on the trigger pull. So I believe that the XDMs can take a trigger job that brings it more in line with the type of trigger that you're going to experience on a trigger-tuned 1911, which is where I came from, was in 1911 as I went through competition. So excellent triggers on these XDs. From the factory, you're probably looking at about 5 pounds, maybe 6 pounds, something like that, but they do take a trigger job very well. Okay, so what we're going to do today is just a quick little drill. What we're going to do is load up the XDM 525, and I'm going to start facing up range, hands in surrender. I'm going to go ahead and turn, draw, and engage each target with 2 rounds each. I'll do a reload and then re-engage targets with 2 rounds each. Pretty much a standard drill with USPSA. All right, so let's get started. I'll go ahead and load up the gun. Always make sure that when you're doing this drill that you're going to load in a safe direction, then turn back around. You never want to load facing up range. Cameraman doesn't like that. All right, here we go. On 1, 2, drop. Okay, unload and show clear, gun's clear. Reholster. All right, let's take a look how we did. Not bad on the first target. I got 4 alpha. Remember that we did a turn, draw, 2 on each, reload, 2 on each. So I've got 4 alpha on the first target here. Second target, when I was walking up here, I was thinking, oh, I missed the target entirely, but actually I got 4 hits. I got one here that's a nice little figure 8. So I actually have 2 alpha, and I'm going to call that a Charlie. It's just barely away from the line. All right, so take a look at this one. I've got 3 alpha and 1 Charlie. No arguing with that, Charlie. It's definitely out of the alpha. So out of 3 targets here, 12 shots, I've got 10 alphas and 2 Charlies. Not too bad. Okay, so this is a little bit of an overview of the XDM 525. Again, it's competition gun design for competition. A lot of input from Rob Latham, professional shooter for Springfield Armory. Let's go over a couple of the features of the gun. First of all, it's a 5 1/4 inch barrel. Gives you a nice long sight radius. That's especially important in competition. Longer shots, that type of thing. Again, from the factory, you're probably looking about a 5-pound trigger, but in my opinion, the XDs take the best triggers for competition. This is about a 2 1/4 pound trigger done by Scott Springer, Springer Precision, springerprecision.com on the web. I also have an offset mag release, which is also legal for production, a legal modification production division. Other than that, it's stock. I got a little bit of a grip texture on there. Replaced the front sight with a little bit thinner sight. Gun comes with a loaded chamber indicator as well as a striker indicator. So the little pin back here means that the striker is ready to fire. There's no round in the chamber right now, but it's tactical feel for a loaded chamber indicator. Gun comes apart like any other XDM. You pull the slide back slightly, pop up the takedown lever, slide comes off the front. Now, in this particular type of trigger job, one of the things about the XDM is The early XDs, you had to pull the trigger to finish taking the gun apart, just like the Glocks. The XDM got rid of that. However, with this particular trigger job, this particular gun, I have to pull the trigger to do the takedown, which kind of eliminated with XDM. Now, there are trigger jobs that can be done, competition trigger jobs that can be done, that do not eliminate that feature. It's not a problem for me. Again, this is a competition gun. It's not a carry gun. It's not something that I would worry about in those terms. But there are trigger jobs you can get that will leave that feature intact. Great gun. I've really enjoyed shooting this. My 1911 is still my all-time favorite, but this one now has become, this is the second best gun I've ever owned in my life. Really enjoy shooting production division with it. All right, well, that's it for today. This is Jay Scott with Gunstock Photos out here on the range. We'll see you out here again.